We respectfully request the Sangha great virtues for the sake of this assembly and all living beings. Please turn the wonderful Dharma wheel to teach and guide us how to end birth and death, leave suffering and attain bliss, and quickly realize non-birth. Cung thính đại đức tăng thịnh, phi thứ pháp hội cập nhật thiết chúng sanh. Thiện duyên diệu pháp luân giao đạo ngã mùng, như há liêu sanh thoát tư lý khổ đạc lạc, tốc chứng vô sanh. Homage to the Blessed, Noble, and Perfectly Enlightened One. Nam mô Sananto Suchedo Ye Alahudi San Miao San Puto Sie. Nam mô Ta Đắc Tha Tô Già Đa Già La Đế Tam Miệu Tam Bồ Đà Toa. The unsurpassed, profound, subtle, and wonderful Dharma in 100,000 million aeons is difficult to encounter. Now that I'm able to see and hear, I will receive and maintain it. I vow to fathom the thus come one's true and actual principles. Wu shang sheng sheng wei miao fa bai jian wan jian an zao yu. 我今见闻得受持，愿解如来真实义。O Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, Great Master Ching Liang, Great Master YongHua, great monks and nuns, and all good advisors of Emitofuo. 诸佛菩萨六祖，师父上人，各位出家人，各位上智师，阿弥陀佛。Chư Phật Bồ Tát, kính thưa Thanh Lương Đại sư Hòa Thượng Điển Hóa, quý thầy cô và quý vị thiện sư thức A Di Đà Phật. Okay, hello everyone. Thank you all for coming. Today is the 15th of July, 2022. We gathered here to continue discussing the prologue to the Avatamsaka Sutra, prepared by Master Ching Liang. This is, we just in slide 52, discussing the door number 2, the thing about store and the teachings containing it. Okay, talk about so far this sutra here. This door here says where we are at right now is we're discussing sutra. In Sanskrit, it has multiple meanings. It has string, text, and warp. Okay. And we had a commentary where sutra means strings, meaning that it links important concepts to each other. So you have a sequential structure, okay? And that's what the Buddha says. So you more or less, strings is more like a story where you have one one event follows another. Similarly, like one principle follows another, so that if like in a movie, you have that string of events so that you tell the whole story, okay? the point, to get to the point of the story. Whereas in the sutra, you put all these concepts together. The Buddha put all these concepts together in order to lead you to somewhere very important, somewhere to help you open your wisdom. Okay? So that's the difference. One is entertainment, the other is your accomplishment, your enlightenment. Okay? But it also has this beautiful structure, the stringsing of these concepts together to help you unfold your wisdom. Okay? But also here to the Buddhist strings also, they love to have the concept of stringing the flowers together to make a garland. Okay? So stringing of flowers, so these flowers are like the beautiful concepts, the beautiful teachings of the Buddha. The text here, now he goes to explaining sutra as a text in a sense of warp and weft. Okay, and this is when you do. Any of you are into what do you call it? Making fabric. You make a fabric, you have a thing that you do, that machine thing here. You have two, the strings are vertical, one are horizontal, this vertical strings. Okay? And you weave the thing through to make a pattern, different thing, and then you have the thing, you press it together to tighten the fabric. This whatever. None of you? Am I the only one that knows a little bit about spinning and yarns and making fabrics? Oh my God. You know how your clothes that you're wearing, you know how it's made? Huh? Oh my God, you're so far removed. A loom, and a warp, and a weft, all those things, okay? So Master YongHua, goes into this thing. He says the crosswise threads. Okay, this way is the text. The warp, the length threads are the weft. Okay, so anyway, it's weaving thing to make fabric that where your clothes are made of, the fabric. Okay, so anyway, so the text here is the weaving of the structure together. Okay, that will be very useful for you. The weaving of what? The weaving of fabric so that you can protect yourself. The fabric is beneficial for you, insulates you, protects you, beautifies you. That's what the teachings from Mahayana will do for you as well, if you will. Okay? If you know how to use Mahayana principles, they're like the fabric you're wearing. Okay? All right, 54, text. In this area, the term string is not esteemed, so the word text is retained.
此方不贵现称，故存于经。
So, commentary in 55. And in China, string is not esteemed, so it is not highly regarded. So that's why the Chinese prefer to use text. 56. It is also said, as the 5 parts of India call it string, mat, well rope, and sage teaching, all refer to the sutra, and text is actually in conflict. To take issue with the ancient worthies, text is not in conflict.
有云：按五印度，忽现习经，谨所圣教，皆曰修多罗，则今正是敌对，赤于古德，今非敌对。
Okay, 57 commentary. Now he goes a little bit into the history of Buddhism and the culture of it. In India, the 5 parts of India, sutra is referred to as string, mat, well rope, and sagely teaching. What's well rope? 互线. Okay. And so culturally, there's some people intellectually say, I disagree, but so the great Master Ching Liang says, no need to argue with the worthies, the ancient, the sages. If they choose to say so, just accept it. And that put an end to all the debate, all this intellectual argument. It's not necessary. It's not about, it's not that important for you to unfold your wisdom. And this is a problem with the people who know too much. They know too much, they become attached to their knowledge. That's why they take a stand. They say, no, that's not how I understand. Okay? So that's why the sages appear in the world to say, stop wasting time. Okay? You have better things to do when you're with your time than arguing among yourselves. Whether you win and you prevail over another confused person, how does it help you at all? Okay? So it's not necessary to argue and debate all these issues. And furthermore, as far as Buddhism is concerned, there is some wisdom, okay, that will help you understand, put an end to all this debate, and let the Indians continue the debate. The Chinese, they taught their own. They said, 开口便作，举念即乖。乖, right? How's my Chinese tonight? I also speak Chinese, not just Southern accent. Okay, so he says, open your mouth. You're wrong. When you open your mouth, you're wrong. Give rise to a thought. Strike up a thought. Then you're off. Any problems here? This is way before debating. Okay? If you open your mouth, okay? When you say anything, open your mouth here, meaning that you say anything at all, you utter anything at all, you're wrong. Any problems? Oh, how come everyone is so agreeable today? You don't debate, there's no debate, there's no argument. Okay, strike up a thought and you're off. Off what? You're off from what? But all these advanced concepts, all these great teachings of Buddhism, they boil down to this. If you understand them, then open your mouth, you know you're wrong. You prove you understand eventually. When you open your mouth, you're wrong. When you think, then you're off. Okay? And that's a clue. That's a tip for all of us. When you have wisdom, okay, then you don't argue, you don't debate, because those who debate are wrong. Even they prevail over their adversaries, they're still wrong. Strike up a thought, then you are off. Okay? You're off the path of wisdom, the way of wisdom. Any problems, anyone? So what's the point in learning Buddhism then, if you can't open your mouth and you can't think about it? Oh, you tired too? Long week? Too early in the morning for you Asians people? Afternoon? It's afternoon already? Oh, ate too much at lunch? Okay, from now on, no food for you. We save some food, we give you at lunch, and we give it to Ahong, who needs it for dinner here. The poor guy. You know, he sacrifices his dates here. It's Friday night in the United States. Friday night, it's usually you go out and celebrate a long week. So this afternoon, he's here translating to Vietnamese, and he rushed out because my guess is that he's not allowed to eat at the temple. So he went out quickly, grabbed a bite, and came right back. And so when he came back grumpy, so he says, can you help us say something to test? Okay. Say again. Again. What do you call that? Hunger. Don't you think? So, you see, you eat too much in Asia, and we don't eat enough here in the United States. Okay. Anyway, that's why no one is really awake yet. How about San Jose, Master Old Monk? What do you think? Open your mouth, you're wrong. Strike up a thought, you're off. What do you have to say?
A Di Đà Phật, Lục Tổ nói là xưa nay không một vật, trong cái chân không nó không có cái gì cả. Rồi nghĩ lên một cái tia chớp lên một cái ý nghĩ, rồi mở cái miệng nói, tức là đi xa khỏi cái chân không, chân tánh đó rồi. Đâu có cái gì mà so sánh mà nói trong cái không đó được. Thành ra khi mở cái ý nghĩ đã sai rồi, mở cái miệng nói theo nữa là hai cái sai rồi.
Emitofuo, Master, the sixth patriarch has said,
You too hungry to translate?
I lost my thought, I'm sorry.
You thought, oh, you poor thing.
There's no such a thing. Therefore, in true emptiness, there's nothing at all. Therefore, when you open your mouth, you're wrong. And when you strike up a thought, you're off.
Okay, Q&A. That's it? Okay, Q&A.
Thì con nghĩ nó đã như vậy rồi mà những người trí thức họ còn đem nó bàn luận debate là nó quá xa rồi. Cho nên thường mà người xưa mà ta muốn diễn tả cái đó nó chỉ im lặng thôi. Không có cái gì diễn tả ra được hết.
Therefore, for these people, the knowledgeable, they talk about that, they debate about it, they go off far away. Therefore, the sage of old say there's nothing to debate. There's nothing to talk about.
Then how are you going to teach? If you don't debate, you don't talk about it, how are you going to teach?
Nếu mình dạy người ta thì mình làm những cái nguyên tắc, những cái đường lối hướng dẫn để người ta đi vào cái cửa thì người ta thấy viên ngọc. Chứ không thể nào mà đem cái viên ngọc mà cho người ta thấy. Họ tự phải đi làm cái đó họ phải vào và thấy được. Thì các pháp chẳng hạn tịnh tông, mật tông, thiền tông, đưa hành giả vào thấy được cái đó thì tự biết.
Master, that's why we are giving them instruction so that they can walk to the gate and get inside of the gate so that they can see the pearl themselves. We cannot bring the pearl out for them. Therefore, Pure Land, chant, and mantra, these are the instructions that teach them to get into the door so that they can see the pearl within them.
But the patriarchs say that even that is you're wrong. Even the instruction you give your students are wrong. No, they're not wrong.
Cũng như cái Ngài Lục Tổ dạy cho Ngài Huệ Minh, không nghĩ thiện, không nghĩ ác. Trong lúc ông không nghĩ thiện, không nghĩ ác đó, thì ông tự biết trong cái đầu ông. Rồi Ngài Huệ Minh hỏi còn bí mật nào nữa không? Thì Tổ nói bí mật nằm ở phía ông. Ông không nghĩ thiện, không nghĩ ác, rồi ông biết cái đó là cái gì.
Master, so the sixth patriarch taught Venerable Huiming that when you don't think of wholesome and evil, at that particular moment is your true mind. So at that moment, whatever your mind is, it is what it is. And even he asked for, is there more instruction coming after that? Venerable Huiming said, there's nothing about it.
Nothing.
It's just at that moment.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Q&A. Continue Q&A.
Rồi, thì bây giờ con nói một cái giống như Ngài Vi Ma Cật là chỉ im lặng thôi. Không có gì để nói.
Okay, what about the guy behind you? Spy number 3.
Di Đà Phật Thầy, Lão Tử nói là đạo mà nói ra được thì không phải là đạo. Thành ra nếu mà đã mở miệng nói thì chắc là chặt rồi. Đạo khác đạo vô thượng đạo thì mở miệng ra nói thì nó không phải là ngôn từ, thì không phải thế nào mà diễn tả được đạo được.
Tao, bu cờ, tao.
Master Lao Tzu have a teaching saying this: if the way was able to be spoken, then it is not the way. Therefore, that's why when you talk about it, it is wrong. So the moment you open your mouth, it is wrong already.
That's why I just said in Chinese. Tao, bu cờ, tao. How do you say it in Korean? Okay. All right. Anyone else? Jewel Kong.
Hello, Master.
So, wait. So all you've been saying all these years in Korea are wrong. You agree?
한국에서 말하는 다 틀려.
Master, does that mean that the instruction we give is just to teach, but then don't be attached? It's just we use it temporarily and don't be attached to it?
No, I just said what you've been telling your students in Korea, that's all wrong based on this ancient wisdom.
It's okay, I don't remember what I said.
Oh boy, are we in trouble? Anyone else? See the problem? How do you explain this? Say, you open your mouth, you're wrong. Then how are we going to teach our students? You say, okay, teach them about chant. Chant is you cross your legs and do the leg pains for 2 more minutes. Okay? Isn't that wrong? What are you doing? What are we doing? Conk.
Master, it just means that it can be wrong. It could be wrong, so don't be attached. Like, we just use it as an expedient. Like, it's not absolutely truth, because some people can sit, some people cannot sit, some people should sit, some people maybe should sit in the chair. Be flexible. Don't be attached to that too much. Doesn't mean that.
Can you see yourself, put yourself in a new guy? Let's say someone who has a PhD somewhere walks in there and listen to us and said, open your mouth, you're wrong. And then next we tell that everything Xianan has been teaching his students in Korea, especially Jumi, is all wrong. And then Xianan said, it doesn't matter anyway, don't be attached. I didn't mean it. Seriously? How do you explain this? Master Ji, come to the rescue of your subordinate. Master Ji said, I'm going to take a nap here. Huh? How do you defend yourself? The newcomer says, so what you tell us is wrong anyway. Why should we listen to you?
Master, I think because that all we do is cái phương tiện. I'm not sure the English word for that. But until you get to the principle, you get the principle, so you forget about the means.
Bỏ quên đi. Master, phương tiện in English mean the means.
Expedient, not the means.
Expedient.
You're too hungry tonight. You're not thinking straight. So we don't translate then? From now on, we just cut off the Vietnamese translation because it's wrong anyway? Korean translation? Shorty translates funny anyway. Huh? What are we to do? You guys keep on beating around the bush. Yes, go for it.
A Di Đà Phật. Như tối thứ Sáu tuần rồi thầy giảng đó, tất cả những phương tiện mà giảng cho học viên đó thì phải dùng cái phước, cái blessing khi nào đủ rồi, và dùng cái lục đại tông chỉ là cái khung, thì lần người hành giả sẽ thấy được cái đó. Chứ bây giờ mình nói cái gì nữa thì cũng là như Lục Tổ nói đó. Cái ngày Trí Thường nói là tôi thấy ngũ uẩn dơi không. Thì Tổ mới nói là cái bầu trời xanh mà ông có cái tia chớp lên ngũ uẩn dơi không, đâu còn cái không đâu. Phải để cái bầu trời xanh, cái tâm ông không nghĩ thiện, không ác, trống lỏng như vậy đó. Thì giờ muốn đạt được cái đó như tuần rồi, tối thứ Sáu tuần rồi thầy giảng là phải có cái hành giả, phải có cái phước. Rồi giữ cái lục đại tông chỉ. Rồi phương tiện đầu thì hành giả phải ngồi kiết già. Lần phải đưa vào đó, rồi đủ khi nào cái cây đủ phân, đủ nước thì nó ra bông ra trái thôi. Hành giả tự biết.
Have you been to a Dharma lecture, Dharma talk?
Quý vị có khi nào mà tới cái thuyết pháp?
What? No, I don't need to translate the Vietnamese for me. Go ahead, translate to English. God, it's so confusing now. I think I'm hungry too.
Emitofuo, Master. So, just like what we did before, the Friday night chant lecture, that Master talked about using the experience for the beginners, at first they have to create blessings and use experience gradually. They will be able to understand the problem. Just like one of the masters said that the sky, you have to keep your mind empty, just like the sky, the blue sky. So we have to create blessings. We have to sit in full lotus, and later on they will understand.
Okay, anyone else? What does Colombia have any wisdom to say? I mean, have you been Colombia to be any place where they speak Dharma and say, what we tell you is wrong anyway, so... Have you been to listen to any, teacher who talks like that, who discusses this topic? Yes, we shoot ourselves in the foot, in other words. The Americans, they're not very smart. Yes, 8.
Thank you, Master. No, in Colombia we don't have a lot of Buddhist monasteries or temples, but I think we don't go into debates because when we do it, we simply lose focus, so we just get out of samadhi for the people that can be in samadhi.
The point I'm making is this. When we bring up this verse here, open your mouth, you're wrong, strike up a thought, and you're off. Aren't we shooting ourselves in our foot? Huh? Aren't the sages telling us, shut up, you don't know what you're talking about? Yes, 5.
I'm wrong. No, I can relate to this, like, let's say with Chan, you come in, you don't know anything, and then Chan reduces your thinking and your ego. So those two things, you open your mouth, it's like the ego, and the thought reduces the thinking.
It's about me telling you, giving you instructions. Sinan giving you instruction. Remember all the instructions and the nonsense she gave you? It's all wrong. That's what it boils down to. We've been fooling you all this time. For 16 years, I opened my mouth. I've been wrong for 16 years. This is depressing. Sinan, I don't think you want to look forward to this. She has this aspiration. I'm going to bring Master's Dharma to Korea and help my people. And here Master goes, after 4 years, 5 years in Korea, Master says, what we're telling you is wrong anyway, so it doesn't matter. Yes, Kong.
Master, can we go to Bahamas now?
Let's run away, right? Okay, liquidate. Get rid of the bench. Okay, it's funny if I were there, I would have asked my master. So, if you open your mouth, Master, you're wrong anyway. So why? Why we're listening to your lectures? But it's funny, and none of his disciples ever asked that. And that tells you a difference in the times. In when he was lecturing, the students are so polite, they're so scared of him, they didn't want to ask him. Dare ask him. My students here are so irreverent, they don't believe. So I'm preparing you. It's going to get worse in your generation, children. They're going to get worse. I said, now Master YongHua is gone. We're going to really have a good time. Okay? So what are you going to do? Huh? You have, instead of 3 spies, you're going to have 20 spies. If we speak Dharma, we open our mouth, we're wrong. Let me go a little bit deeper, and please don't get offended, okay? Especially you Asian people. I'm going to go deeper now. Open your mouth, you're wrong. Does it mean the Buddha is also wrong? sacrilege. Huh? Now I'm questioning the Buddha. Yes, go for it.
Thầy, cái lời Phật giảng, kinh Phật giảng cũng là sai. Nhưng mà nhờ cái ngón tay mình mới thấy mặt trăng. Ngón tay không phải mặt trăng, nhưng mà mọi chúng sanh đều theo ngón tay chỉ sẽ thấy mặt trăng. Thì kinh luận tất cả những lecture với tổ giảng cũng là ngón tay thôi. Theo ngón tay sẽ thấy mặt trăng. Đó.
Why? Okay, translate. Hungry person.
Master, I think the Buddha sermon, the Buddha teaching is also wrong. However, just like the finger that pointing to the moon, if there's no finger pointing to the moon, how will we be able to see the moon itself? So the teaching of the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, and the Patriarch is just like the finger pointing to the moon.
Hey, Xianchen, see how clever I am? I don't have food, so I praise him. I praise his hunger. He does not feel as hungry now. I'm the one who's feeling hungry. See how his energy level was, raised? Huh? Yeah. Jewel Kong, go ahead.
Master, before that I didn't dare to say, because, but now Master mentioned that Buddha, so I think at the end of his life he said that during the 49 years he didn't speak anything. So is that in the same principle? Right?
You are a traitor. Okay, now the truth comes out. When the Buddha said, all the past 49 years, okay, I spoke nothing, it's not the same as I was wrong, is it? It sounds different to me, yes, sir? English, I spoke nothing. It's different from I spoke nonsense. I spoke wrong. Okay, Master Z, you extrapolated, you went too far. Not only are you a traitor, you dare question our Buddha, distort our Buddha's teaching. Big problem. Okay? Master Old Monk is gone. He said, oh my God. I just lost a student. Okay. So, should we move on? Or is it too controversial? Yeah? Okay. So open your mouth, you're wrong. Okay. Of course. Why are you wrong? Why is that when you open the mouth, you're wrong? Because no matter how eloquent you are, no matter how good you are, okay, you can never explain the ultimate knowledge of enlightenment, of wisdom. So far, so good. So this is right. Open your mouth, you're wrong. As soon as you open your mouth, you're wrong. And I've been to so many debates myself. I listened to second page chart. I listened to people who are higher than him. I listened to all sorts of enlightened people. And they open their mouth. I said, oh my God, you are so wrong. Okay? You are so wrong. Seriously. They opened their mouth. They spoke according to the Buddhist principle. What I heard is that they're wrong. Okay? So why do you have to open our mouth? Why do you have to teach? Because we're wrong anyway. It's because, as the old monk, who I meant to ask him the question, he said, it's the teaching, the Buddhist teaching, like the finger pointing to the moon. What are we talking about? Why do these people, these Chinese and these Japanese, or they translated this and they keep on saying, it's like the finger pointing to the moon. What does it mean, a finger pointing to the moon? Can you be specific, please? Huh? Koreans, Sunnims, you heard that before, yes? A finger pointing to the moon? What does it mean? Chungin Sunim, what does it mean, a finger pointing to the moon? The old monk is back. Thank you, Lord. What does it mean, the old monk, the finger pointing to the moon?
Cái chân tâm, cái tánh không của mình đó, mình theo những cái lời dạy dỗ kinh sách thì các tổ giúp cho thì sẽ thấy được cái chân tâm inside vô.
I see. Okay.
Master, it is your true mind, the empty nature, the teaching, the sermon, instruction of the patriarch is to point out to you your true mind.
Very good. Excellent. Okay, that's the answer. After half an hour, he finally stumbled on the answer. Exactly. Even though when you open our mouth, we're wrong. What's the message? Stop debating. Stop trying to prove you're right. Is that clear? Okay? It's not about we right. It's not about we know what we know. It's about what you're going to do about it. Is that clear? When we give you Chan instructions, it's not because we right. It's about you being wrong. So we talk about your wrong, not about our right. My right, I'm not going to talk about it. Make sense? Ching, remember? Ching, 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 ching. I'm right. So therefore, I'm not going to talk about my right. I'm only talking about his wrong, the Catholic's wrong, the Christian's wrong. You hear? It sounds good? Catholic, glad you're here. Yeah. You understand? When we give you instructions, it's not about my knowledge, because I have nothing. This is a very important point, folks, children. You want to teach people. You want to help people. It's not about what you know, not about how right you are. It's about where that person is wrong. That's the purpose of the instructions. Don't ever forget that. In academia, the professors tell you about what they know. Yes? Sound familiar? Tell you about how superior the intellect are. The vast knowledge. Okay? And that's intellectual pursuit. That's worldly knowledge. Okay? For spiritual knowledge, okay, we are not talking about ourselves. We're talking about you. Our instructions are about you. What about you? How wrong you are for not crossing your legs, for not meditating every day, for neglecting your Buddha nature, for neglecting your spiritual well-being, for neglecting your health. That's what we're talking about, where you're wrong. This is a very important point I'm trying to stress to all of you, teachers, future teachers, monks and nuns. Future monks and nuns, future lay people who want to go into teaching Mahayana, okay? Don't be like the scholars, don't be like the professors who says, I'm right, I know what I'm talking about. No, it's not our point. When we teach people is to guide them to see where they are wrong, what they're doing that's wrong. It's never about us. It's never about how right we are. It's never about how wise we are. It's never about building our fame and our reputation. And it's about you, how wrong you are. Okay, so this line here, open your mouth, you're wrong, means number one, stop arguing, stop demonstrating your knowledge. All of us, applies to all of us. For us teachers in particular, monks and nuns who are teaching, okay, when you open out your mouth, okay, do it like the old monk says. It's like a finger pointing to your wisdom, your listeners' wisdom, and what they're doing wrong that prevents them from seeing that wisdom, seeing the moon. The finger pointing at the moon is that analogy. It's a very important concept. The moon is your Buddha nature, your wisdom, your inherent wisdom that you have, that you don't know how to use. So the finger pointing to the moon, okay, is the teaching. This finger is our teaching. Okay? Only in expedient, like Master Z says, okay, for a purpose, okay, and it's to point out to you where you're wrong. You're looking at the wrong places. You should be looking at over there at the moon, whereas you're looking at fame, you're looking at profit, you're looking at self-benefit, you're looking at stinginess, you're looking at protecting your ego, inflating your ego, okay? Instead, you should be looking over there, in the sky, where you belong, not down here. Usually, when you go to these events and we say something profound like that, you're going to have people, the whole auditorium, they go, oh, how beautiful, how beautiful, how beautiful. But here, I give you something so profound, no one cares. Yeah, okay, go on. What else have you got? What else have you got? You know, Joseph, I would not recommend you become a monk. Okay? It's very tough, on your ego. You think about dirty things, you think about profits, you think about money, you think about disciples, you think about, mortgage payments and so forth. All the dirty things of the world. Okay? No one appreciates it, especially your disciples. They leave you. And I said, Master, we need a bigger temple. Will you buy a bigger temple for me? Okay, so open your mouth, you're wrong. Okay, so remember that. Okay, remember when you try to explain, try to tell people how much you know, you're wrong. Okay, it's never about you. Wisdom is to help people see where they're wrong. So if you have wisdom, you need to open your mouth. You cannot say, oh, if the sages say, open your mouth, you're wrong, so I'm not going to open my mouth. Chung Yin said, I'm so happy. From now on, I can be in my corner in a Dharma treasury, and Master asks me a question, I won't even bother, yes, Master. What happened to Dharma treasury? They checked out? Anyway. Okay? Strike up a thought, you off. You off target. you're going on a tangent. When you're working, you're meditating in particular, you're reciting Buddha's name, reciting a sutra, okay, and a thought arises, you're off. Your practice is off. Is it clear? Does it help? Use as a guideline in your practice. Okay? Both sides. You as teachers, okay, you open your mouth only when it's necessary to guide people. Don't talk so much. Okay? Don't try to prove anything. Okay? And strike up a thought, you're off. When you reciting, you cultivating, don't think so much of food, of sleep, of comfort, of love, of family, of children. Drop them temporarily. Does it help? It's not forever. Just do it while you're practicing, that's all. Does it help? Okay, I give up. I know I'm wrong, but you don't have to treat me like that. 59. Now, to examine this in further detail, if the one term for four things is actually in conflict with them all, then the ancient explanations will stand.
今更详知，若一名四时，皆为敌对，则古如所破。
Okay, so he says, now I'm making an argument, this Master Jing Yang. Here, for me, please excuse me, but I feel that he's trying to impress the scholars. And that is, begins with a W, an R, an O, an N, and a G. That's wrong. Okay, so it's for the sake of conversation, sake of debate, sake of connecting with the scholars. That's why he does this. He says, okay, from a scholarly perspective, you don't want to. With all due respect, they have their reasons. We respectfully understand where they're coming from. Yes, we understand their logic, understand their wisdom, but you basically can ignore them because it doesn't help in the big picture. 61. If one connects it with the required meaning, text itself pertains to math. The conflict should be with sagely teaching.
若兼顺义，今自属于习经，敌对应名圣教，故良摄论义为圣教。
62. So the great master continues his reasoning. He says that in regards to the objection, prior objection, text is close to math, but actually it's in conflict with the other three translations, especially with sagely teaching. 63. Therefore, the Liang Samparigraha Shastra translates it as sagely teaching. That is not a sagely teaching, yet it accomplishes a sagely teaching. So the name Xiu Dolo is added.
为成圣教故，加修多罗名。彼论云有阿毗达摩，非是圣教。
64. Commentary, and this in this Shastra, he says that the it says that the Abhidharma or the Shastra is not essentially teaching, yet accomplishes essentially teaching. And that's why they use more names. 65. The ancient verses 1, seeing that the followers of Confucius Mencius both called their works text, adopted it, and elaborated with the term map to designate the sagely teaching.
古德见此，如墨皆称为经，遂借彼习经，以目圣教，则双含二义，俱顺两方，借意注明，更加气字，简易习经，甚为允当。
All right, 66. So the great master says, historically speaking, he's documenting the fact that it was translated from Sanskrit into Chinese language and by certain people and for their particular readers and using the existing vocabulary that people can relate to. So that's why back then when Buddhism went from India to China, it's the first recipient, the first disciples are actually Taoist background, Confucius background. Okay, those are the people with the intellect, with the education. Yes, was there a question here, 5?
Master, what is Shastra?
Shastra is Sanskrit and refers to the third basket. Buddhism has 3 baskets. The sutra basket, which are the sermons of the Buddha. The Vinaya basket, the sutra basket refers to the principles, okay, that the Buddha taught to help guide us with how to cultivate the way, how to practice the way, okay, in order how to develop our samadhis. So it has all the secrets on how to develop our samadhis. Okay, it is so advanced. The Buddhist teaching is so advanced in the sutra, is so advanced that it so has intricate details on how to develop your samadhis and how to improve your samadhis. Seriously. Okay? And number 2 basket is Vinaya basket, is that it describes the foundation of virtues, of purity. Samadhi is a structure, is similar to a structure that's built on a foundation. The foundation of samadhi is Vinaya. Okay? Vinayas are the rules of purity. Okay? Because if you're in samadhi, okay, and you lack purity, the samadhi cannot last. Okay? The reason you enter samadhi, you exit samadhi because you lack purity. Okay? If you cannot stay in samadhi for very long, you cannot be that productive. You cannot produce quality work. Meaning, you are not producing from wisdom. So that's why you need the samadhi, the foundation of purity, of rules, of regulations that will help you develop and maintain that level of samadhi. Does it help? That's why they're interconnected. Vinaya is the foundation where you build samadhi on. So far, so good. Those are the 2 baskets. There's a third basket. It's called Shastra, which refers to the treatises from the Bodhisattvas. Here's what happens. The Buddha explained to us the Vinaya, because he says, okay, you need the foundation. I am a Buddha. I alone understand about Vinaya. You don't. None of you understands. Therefore, I need to spell it out for you, and you just follow these things. Then when you fulfill all those requirements, then you understand. purity. Until then, you don't know. Because you do the wrong things, you won't make it there. So that's why he has explained to us the Vinaya, okay, the foundation. Okay, that requires tremendous wisdom. Okay, and then from there, he says, if you have this foundation, then you can build your enlightenment upon it. So that enlightenment requires a foundation be stronger and stronger and stronger. So far, so good. So that's why you need the two, the combined. What happened after that is that once you have this foundation, this samadhi thing here, okay, the Buddha then is gone. He says, I'm done. I'm out of here. Okay? I taught everything I'm supposed to teach. What to do? What happened is that after he's gone, we don't understand his teachings at all. He's no longer around. It makes sense? You know, when the Buddha was around, Shariputra, Mahamoggalyana, they served him. They gave him tea. They washed his feet. You know, they ironed his clothes. Make tea for him. They cook for him and did all those things. That's why they're able to ask him questions. Yes? But he's dead. So what are we going to do? So what happened is that the Buddhas are very, very compassionate. They send waves upon waves upon waves of bodhisattvas. Okay, after they're gone, after they died, they send the bodhisattvas to follow up. Okay, to help us interpret the Buddha's teachings. We couldn't ask the Buddha, but now we can ask the bodhisattvas. Does it make sense? That's why the bodhisattva would come after the Buddha is gone. Then the bodhisattvas came along and they elaborated. They said, okay, this is what the Buddhist wisdom is about. So they said, let me tell you. When you read the sutras, eventually, when you open your wisdom, this is what you're supposed to understand from my perspective. So these bodhisattvas came to our world in order to help us develop the wisdom and appreciate the depth of the Buddha's teaching. Because without the Shastras, it's very difficult for us to understand the Buddha's teaching. Okay? So what happens is that Buddhism is very special. Those bodhisattvas keep on coming. For example, Master YongHua is one such bodhisattva. He came to our world. What did he do? Instead of teaching the 5 precepts, he taught the 6 principles. He says, don't worry about the 5 precepts. Don't worry about not killing, stealing, and so forth. I know it doesn't make sense to you. I know that's not what you want to hear, especially you hippies. Huh? Okay? So he says, I tell you what, you only understand about, fighting, about greed, about, self-indulgence and so forth. I explain the Buddhism along those lines for you. Okay? And that's what the bodhisattvas work. They reinterpret the Buddhas by using the words that make more sense to us, that we can connect with. So culturally speaking as well, okay, they have to connect with our culture. So that's why a lot of bodhisattvas became pale-faced like you, or yellow-faced like her, dark-faced like him, Colombia and so forth. Okay, so the bodhisattva has to come and manifest in different forms, different cultures, and they prepare these shastras, if you will, to connect with us, to help us develop our wisdom faster, more readily, if you will. So that's why the 3 baskets, the shastras is a live thing. The Vinaya and the sutras are done. The Buddha is done. But until the next Buddha comes along, until Buddhism disappears, the Shastra will keep on growing. Big more Bodhisattvas will come and explain things to us. That's their roles. That's why Shastra is very, very important for us. Okay? Now, for people like Master YongHua, he doesn't really sit down and prepare Shastras. Why not? Because it's too low level to write Shastras. Okay? Shastra is for low-level bodhisattvas who had come and say, let me teach you about consciousness-only school. Let me teach you about Tiantai school and so forth. It's too low level. Okay? So Master YongHua says, nah, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to waste my time. Okay? So what he does more is that use all those teachings already, but he gave you specific instructions on how to open your wisdom. Okay, so he's developing new. Another way is that he doesn't do shastras anymore, but it's in the forms of instructions, and he has mountains of tapes of instructions on how he sees things in life and how to cultivate and so forth. And I personally, I know that I won't have the chance to look at it, okay? But maybe in the future, your generation, and those people woke up and say, oh my God, my cassettes here, mountain cassettes here at the temple are disappearing. We better transcribe them, make them available for people who are smarter than us, wiser than us, to decipher what our, teachers said. So in the future, your generation probably will have access to it. Future generations will have access to it. Okay? And that's a real treasure, trust me. Similar to the treasures of the Shastras. Because it's directed at our generation, our culture. 21st century, if you will, and later. All right? Questions or comments? Okay, so back to commentary slide 66. Back then, the followers in China were students of Confucius and Mencius and and Lao Tzu. Okay, and so they propagated their teachings, their own principles, using their own jargons, their vocabulary, and they both use the word text for their teachings, and they also use math for sagely teachings and so forth. I would not call them sagely teaching. Their teaching is pretty worldly, if you ask me, but it's okay. Okay, in terms of vocabulary, in terms of language constraints, it's okay to use worldly terms, because remember, all these words are just the fingers pointing to the big deal, your Buddha nature. Okay, commentary, slide 67. Master YongHua commented on Confucius and Mencius. Okay, I think we should go through them just for our own education. These sages were there to help pave the way for the Chinese to learn Buddhism. Okay, and in particular, Confucius his last name is Ru, personal name is Zhongni, and Mencius or Modi, right? Hey, Taiwanese girl, Modi. How do you pronounce this? Mo Chai, sorry, Mo Chai. It's very similar to Daniel's boss's teaching, Christianity. It preaches universal love, okay? Bo Ai. And The difference being that the Christianity talk about concepts, whereas Mencius talks about, emphasizes actual practice. Okay, when the Chinese talk about practice versus talk, what do they mean? Practice here, when the Chinese talk about practice, is actually to what? Make sacrifices to express your love, universal love. Whereas people who like to talk about love only, they talk with the mouth. They're not really doing anything. Whereas the Chinese Mencius, he says, it's not about talking. It's about what are you doing about it, about to express universal love. What are you doing? What you're doing here means that what sacrifices are you making in the spirit of universal love? And that's why that's our connection with them, the Chinese, in that context, because Buddhism is not about concepts. Buddhism is about what are we doing to help living beings. Ultimately, you start first small by what are you doing to help yourself. Okay? Once you have some skills, then you naturally will be able to help your children, your mother, your father, your co-workers, your customers, naturally. All right? Before Confucius, there was Yang, who advocated every man for himself, that is selfishness. Their claim to fame is that no way I do it, even if it only requires me to pluck a hair to benefit the world. Okay, so that was that guy, Yang. So of course, it's nothing new. Whether it's in China back then or United States here, this era, or anywhere in the world, you always have a plethora, a lot of different people with conflicting proposals. They're there, they're popular because of prior conditions. All those guys, okay, in a prior life, they were teachers. And the current students were their students back then as well. So that's why they gather together again. They continue this nonsense. Just the same way as in many lifetimes, many of you were my beloved disciples and students. Not many, okay? We aren't that many, okay? We're like a cult. And so we get together again and we study this again, until you become enlightened. Okay? Yeah. And that's why many of you say, what Master says is so wrong. Okay, 68. Contrary to Yang, Mencius, who is totally altruistic and public spirited, okay, I would let my body be cleaved into two from head to toe if it would benefit the world. See, the other guy, Yang, says, even if I only need to pluck one hair to benefit the world, I would not even do that. Okay? They're a bunch of losers anyway. The world is full of losers. It's not worth my hair. Okay? Whereas Mencius says, I don't care. I don't care. The world is full of losers. Okay? I would sacrifice my body. Okay? Take a cleaver and chop my body slowly from head to toe, okay, in half, okay, just to benefit the world. And Mencius says, the egoism of Yangzi means he has no Lord. Okay? Universal love of Mencius means he has no father. One who has no Lord, no father, is a beast. Okay. Okay, so egoism of Yangzi means he has no Lord, meaning that he reports to no one. Okay, meaning that avoid such people. People only see themselves as number one, are to be avoided. Run. Okay, Yangzi is a true loser. He's totally deviant, totally confused. Universal love of Mencius means he has no father, meaning that he does not distinguish his own father from others. Okay, in Buddhism, we have the similar concept. All of you have been my fathers, my mothers, because we've been revolving the wheel of incarnation for so long, since beginningless time. So it's bound to be the fact that you were my mothers, you were my fathers, not at the same time, at different times. Right? And don't be so beastly. Don't be a stupid beast when you think yourself is no father, no Lord. Okay, no one. You owe no one, and no one is above you. 69. Confucius is yes, 8.
Thank you, Master. Now that you mentioned that we've been revolving in the wheel of reincarnation, lately I've heard a lot of people that they say like old soul or like young soul or things like that. Have we all existed from beginningless time, or there's like new souls come into existence or something like that? Thank you, Master.
What was the question? Sorry?
Lately, I've seen a lot of people that they say like, oh, you have like an old soul or a young soul or something like that. But I've always thought that, we've been since beginningless time. Is like the creation is constantly like getting more and more living beings.
What's about young souls and old souls? What's that? What do you mean by that? I'm not sure I understand.
Some people, when they look at you, they kind of see like some wisdom in you. So they say, oh, you're like an old soul. So you've been like, like living a lot of times and you know a lot of things.
Okay.
But some other people, they really enjoy like being playful and things like that. So they said it's like...
Okay. Are they from Colombia?
From here, Master.
From here. Oh, they're Americans. They're so confused. I rest my case. The pale face is so confused. So what do I think? No, it's not something like that. It is this beginningless time is time that you don't even know that we've been doing this. We've been changing bodies forever. And we're not careful, we continue to do that forever. Since forever until forever. That's what the message is. Okay? And it turns out that history repeats itself. Meaning that who you hang out with, whether who you marry, you will find them again. We will congregate with them again. Time, lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. Okay? So at this lifetime, we congregate this group of people, your family, your friends, your co-workers and so forth, your teachers, fellow cultivators. Next lifetime, if you get a human body again, okay, then we'll be another group. And you go to the Pure Land, will be another group. Okay? That's how it is. So it's interesting to see the patterns on how people get together and how they connect with each other. Okay? Why are you drawn to a person? Naturally. Okay? Because of prior conditions. Why are you drawn to this person and not the other person? Okay? So there are lots of things going on. And so same thing, Confucius and Mencius, all those great teachers in China were sent to China first. So they brought their own students. And they developed new students. Okay? Well, so now we're talking about Confucius. The reason I'm interested about these concepts is because I wanted to hear from Master YongHua what he emphasized about these teachings. Because we don't have time, and I really have no interest in delving into Confucius or Mencius and so forth. I feel that it's too worldly. Okay, it's nonsense to me. Confucius' teaching to me is nonsense. You ask me. I don't know why the Chinese keep on stressing, quoting Confucius and so forth. A lot of it is too worldly. Okay, it's fine. It's for worldly people. That's fine. But for you who are learning Mahayana, it's too low level. Okay. Anyway, so Confucius, according to Master YongHua, advocated about love. Love starts at home. You love your parents, your sibling, and you need to be filial. And your filiality should carry from your elders to others' elders. Also, caring for your children should also means that you care for others' children as well. Okay, so Confucius is bigger heart, if you will. Okay, Yangzi and Mencius so far, they talk about themselves. Okay, they say me. Confucius is more community-minded. He says, I live in a community, I live in society, I need to have a certain proper behavior to make society prosper and harmonious. Okay? So he advocated love. Okay? Not love about yourself. Love at home. Love your parent, love sibling, filial, and love your children, and so forth. All right? 70. So at the time, Confucius and Mencius, they call their teachers' texts, works text. So the Book of Odes, Book of History, Book of Change, Book of Rites in Confucianism, the Spring and Autumn Annals, and the 5 classics. And so that's where the word text came from. Any questions or comments? So that's a history for the Chinese translation of the word text. Okay, that's as far we're going to go as far as history is concerned. Okay, if you are interested, you can delve deeper into Confucianism teaching and Mencius teachings and so forth. And remember that those teachings were designed we're targeting people at that times. Okay, I feel that they are a little bit out of sync with our modern times, where the values have changed. A lot still is the same because it addresses the human nature, the basis of human nature, proper values for the humans. But in terms of practice, to unfold your wisdom, I think that's where it falls short, if you will. Any other questions or comments? In general, if you have time, you have the inclination, I definitely would not mind reading on or learning more about Confucius and Mencius and so forth, because you will have developed an appreciation of how to teach different people at different levels, okay, different cultures, and that's part of the work, okay? Be open-minded, embrace it. All right? Don't judge. Okay? All right. Time is up. Do you have any question? Yes, 5.
Master, I had a question. It's off topic, but
okay.
Sometimes you mentioned that the Christian God is in the heaven, like the above the desire heaven, right? So does that mean that we should believe in stuff in the Bible or the Holy Bible at all? Because the Christian God is up there?
Well,
since Daniel's here, if he wants to...
No, he's sleeping. Leave him alone, please. He's so bored. Should we believe in the Bible? No, we should not believe in the Bible. Is the brief answer. Okay? The Bible, remember, the Bible is for God's followers, God's children. We are Buddha's children. We don't need to, follow God's children. So, no, absolutely. I think if you want to relate to the Christians and the Catholics, yeah, you speak the language. There's nothing wrong with that. But in terms of developing your wisdom, I don't think it's going to help much. I looked at some of the teachings because I have a lot of my disciples who came from Catholics, okay, and Catholicism, and many of them are Protestants, and I have some Jewish friends and so forth. And I feel that I really cannot connect with those teachings because they ask you for blind faith. For me, I cannot accept it. You have to give me more than just because God said so, because Master YongHua said so. Buddha said so, okay. Buddha is, I can't touch the Buddha. I don't know where it's coming from. But for me, even for Master YongHua said so, I say, I don't know. Okay? So I don't happen to subscribe to the Christian teachings at all. I know. Answer is no. I don't believe it. I don't think it's a good stuff for you to jump into, to delve deeper into, and not good use of our time. Yes, 8.
Thank you, Master. Earlier you were speaking about precepts. I would like to take the first one, the not killing one. But I've been putting fly traps at my place because there are a lot of flies flying around. Is that repentable? Thank you, Master.
You are what? Been killing flies and eating live crabs?
No. only killing flies.
Sorry?
Yeah, only
Killing flies. What about mosquitoes? Mosquitoes too. Once you kill flies, you kill mosquitoes. Huh? Okay, what about ants?
We didn't have ants this
You don't have
time.
ants in your house?
No, I got lucky. Last year, yes, but this year, no.
You spray things around your house, that's why you don't have ants? Because we have ants everywhere. Everywhere I go, the ants bite me. They don't like the fact I drink Coca-Cola. I mean, not Coca-Cola. I hate Coca-Cola, okay? Warren Buffett. I like Pepsi. Not true, but... so, is it okay to kill flies?
No, is that repentable?
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's repentable. Don't worry. But don't kill. It's repentable, but the flies remember you. Wherever you go next, they will come at you. Yes, 7.
From Addison, Brazil, you explained the teaching is planted in the 8th consciousness. I wanted to know if the 8th consciousness remains when a living being transmigrate.
Yes, they do. You carry it with you. Wherever you go, that thing, you take it with you. Whatever body you have, you take it with you. Okay? I remember once I read somewhere, Master YongHua says, when you become a human body and you become Sarah's dog, so your consciousness is split into 5. And I said, which one goes where? You know, do I go into female dog or a male dog or a LGBTQ dog, you know? I was so confused, let me tell you. It's too much information. That's why, seriously, I was so confused. I was so worried because he started talking about it. He says, you know, your consciousness, the 8th consciousness, you know, that thing there, which stores everything you have. When you become a dog, it's split into like 20 pieces. Your consciousness is bigger than the consciousness of a dog. And therefore, you know, there is, and I said, oh my God, I don't want to be a dog because I want to lose all the precious memories of my mother. What if they go in the wrong body? It's too much information. It's not necessary. Okay? So, yes, the consciousness is basically yours forever. No matter how many times it's split, it's still yours. Does it help? Okay. Well, the old monk is back. We're in business again, so let's stop here tonight and do the rebirth transference. Thank you, everyone, and have a nice afternoon. Have a good evening. It's okay to applaud. I'm desperate.